Yeah, so Hawkeye, episode 5. I think we have one left after this. Is that right?
Thank
I
fuck.
believe you said that last week. Yeah, I believe you said 6.
Thank
Yeah,
God
6.
is what I say to that.
It was I don't like how it teased so much about the Kingpin, where it's like, oh, the big reveal is that this guy exists, like he would in the comics. Like, it's,
You know
I
what
don't
it
know.
says? It
It's
says,
like you're,
hey, no part of Hawkeye is interesting. Remember
yeah,
this guy that was in another show?
Yeah.
We're going to bring him in.
It's
Because
kind,
Hawkeye
it's,
is fucking
it's
dull.
kind of a big deal
Oh, sure it is.
because it's the second of the people from the Netflix coming over.
but the thing was, in the beginning when those Netflix shows started, it was that they were going to be a part of the universe. And even with the ABC and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that they were going to be a part of it.
But
Now
they
it's
didn't.
like Feige gets promoted and he's like, okay, well, now going forward, all of these will be actively a part of phase 4. Whereas before it was kind of selective where they could forget it, but they couldn't. But it's like, it's a confusing thing of like, who really cares, beyond the hardcore fans.
I think you
there's
guys
a lot, but
are missing the biggest point. And the biggest point is that, hey, you know what's not fucking interesting and I don't care about and I could care less to watch what happens to? Fucking Hawkeye. You know, the subject of this fucking show? Who fucking cares what happens to this guy? Fuck this guy.
The other thing
he's kind of undramatic as a character. Like, would you say, Phil, that he just kind of doesn't work as a central character because he's not dramatic enough?
I completely agree. But what I would say is this show is it's as if we're halfway through the series.
Yeah.
But
we only have one left.
This feels like the 9th season of a show that should have ended in its 4th season. No one is interested in being in this show. So I have a couple of fucking points that I wrote down because I hated this episode and it's really fueled my hatred for this show.
Okay, go.
Is Vera Farmiga a good actress or is she only good at playing the mom? I can't figure it out.
She's not good at playing the mom in here, I don't think. I think she's a good actress.
Adequate actress.
I just don't think the acting or the direction of the show, like Bert and Birdie, like fuck off.
Right? That feels like
it's the direction of the show
fucking,
isn't good.
Yeah.
It's not good at all.
You know what this reminds me of? One of those movies on Netflix that you just give the money to and it doesn't matter what comes out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because no one cares to be there fucking anyway. So fuck it. Just spend a bunch of movie on it.
Which is kind of,
it
makes me retroactively appreciate Falcon and the Winter Soldier more because I realized that had a direction to it. Even, WandaVision had a direction to it. You could say Loki had a direction to it. And this one just doesn't have a strong, the most informed thing about it is like Christmas, but it's like by far loosey-goosey, which is irritating to me because again, Hawkeye is the only active Avenger in active duty now. And it doesn't make a big enough deal about it. Like this should be his shot.
He doesn't even give a shit. He could care less.
Well,
he could care less that he's an Avenger in active duty.
He's done.
But he never even got started.
Yeah.
He never even do you think he's going to be gone after this, guys? Do you think he's just going to retire?
I fucking hope so.
I think he's going to retire and there's going to be cameos.
I hope that he is replaced by fucking Linus from fucking Charlie Brown. Because that's who he is in this movie. Stuff? I expected Charlie Brown music, the sad Charlie Brown music that follows George Michael Bluth around and the rest of development. Yeah. I expected that to be playing every fucking time Hawkeye was walking around.
I could have sworn it played on this episode, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Probably, because this guy's a fucking whiner.
There was
the other thing I fucking hate. And when I say hate, usually it's a rare thing for me to fucking really hate someone on the show where it takes me right out of it. I hate this Black Widow replacement. She sounds like fucking Yakub Smirnoff.
I love her.
How bad this accent is.
I was thinking about this.
Terrible, dude.
I am so on the other side.
You are a kid bishop. Did you know that in Russia?
It's definitely heavy-handed.
Black Widow's a hunt for you. She sucks.
I was thinking about this and I thought it was funny how people gave Scarlett Johansson shit for her accent, which wasn't like the best, but it wasn't like distracting. Like it was subtle, and everybody was like during the Black Widow movie. maybe don't have Florence Pugh, who's like the new hot young thing, like doing the same thing next to you because it makes you look stupid. But it's like on the TV show here, it's like, and my only note for this show is about Yelena. And it says Yelena being quippy is a bridge too far. Of like, there's nothing previously about the character that's like fun. I know it was like, she wasn't like a total sad sack in Black Widow that I remember or anything.
Oh, she was a little fun in Black Widow.
Here's how but it's too hard. It's try hard.
Here's how shitty this character is. Oh, we've got to go and kill these Black Widows by spraying stuff in their face. Oh, I got to go to the bathroom. Goes to the bathroom. Oh my God, I'm gone for 5 years. And she comes out of the bathroom. Oh my God, I gotta go after the Hawkeye. What the fuck was that? When she was in the bathroom for 5 fucking years. What the fuck was the point of that?
That was the blip.
It was just a show because her whole world changes in a moment's notice. She loses her sister.
And we only saw that with Monica Rambeau, I believe it was.
Or Monica Rambeau,
where we saw the blip actually happen.
Who Monica Rambeau is? Isn't she?
She's Captain Marvel's friend, her black.
No, maybe it's not Monica. The one in
it's difficult Scarlet. Because Monica Rambeau is a really cool character name that I think would be like, this person. It's like Adam Warlock or something like that who hasn't been introduced, but it's like. Or like a really cool character name, like Peter Parker. That sounds like an important character. Monica Rambeau sounds like an important. Yep. I know who I'm thinking of. Like Amanda Waller. Like I keep thinking of her as that type who's like central. But it's like I'm frequently reminded. Yeah, this character who said this one line and this one thing 8 movies ago.
The black chick in WandaVision that blipped.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was that was the first blip that was like shown in not first person, but through them. Like
I think it's because WandaVision cared and Hawkeye does not fucking care. And this character sucks. I will actively avoid anything that this fucking actress is in because
did you see Midsommar?
This is just I unfortunately had to sit through fucking Midsommar, or as it should have been more aptly fucking titled, a bunch of fucking idiot millennials decide to do drugs and cry in a field. But my other question that I have about this stupid fucking TV show is in this stupid Black Widow movie that we've already seen, Natasha and her younger sister are trying to ejaculate this fairy dust into the faces of Black Widows to get them to stop being Black Widows. Right?
Yeah, so they're not controlled by the Taskmaster.
That's right.
That I remember.
So why is it in this movie that she's back to being a Black Widow that's been hired as a Black Widow assassin to kill Clint Barton?
When she's no longer a Black Widow. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
So she's not a Black Widow that's been hired to be a Black Widow?
Technically not. At this point in the timeline, she has been hired, but she's not technically a Black Widow. Because
she's hired as a Black Widow, but not to be a Black Widow.
But it doesn't make any sense that she would want, like, I know that, like, okay, and this is the same problem where we've had about, like, consistency throughout the whole series of, like, okay, Ant-Man is famous enough to be on Broadway, even though he's not part of the Avengers who would know who he is. Them being like, okay, giant. Well, she knows that Black Widow is dead, but she doesn't know that, like, she presumes that Hawkeye killed him. Well, that invites a lot of questions of like, okay, here's a character who can slink into anybody's apartment, and she doesn't just have a face-to-face with Hawkeye that would clear this all up, or she's trying to kill him, and it's like, they could have a tete-a-tete there, but like the Kate Bishop just kind of gets in the way of this. And then when you factor in that, like, Kate Bishop could have like straight up killed her, and her going later on, oh, you tried to kill me. That's like adorable. It's like she had you at arrow point.
Bishop. Yeah. She sounds like fucking. She sounds like fucking. Oh fuck! I can't believe I forgot his fucking name.
From but in a different way.
From I keep on saying Wario, but that's not it. Watto from episode 1. I am the Captain Bishop. You want to see my chance cube? She sucks. To me, this is like fucking sucks.
When she came out on the scene, I'm trying to think of the first movie she was in. I think when she played Lady Macbeth, which I didn't see in a movie called Lady Macbeth. And then there was something that she was in before, because I saw her in Little Drummer Girl, the thing that it wasn't Kim Ji-woon, but the creator of Old Boy did this mini series called A Little Drummer Girl, and she was fine in that. Like I honestly feel anybody could have played that role, and she was in Fighting with My Family. I forgot
she was in Midsommar because I've tried to forget Midsommar because it fucking sucks. Hereditary is fucking great. Midsommar fucking stinks, and people need to stop pretending that that's a fucking good movie because it's shit. My second point about this stupid fucking show.
She wasn't Fighting with My Family. That is messed up.
Does Hawkeye like the LARPers or not?
Yeah, I know. It's freaky.
Does Hawkeye like the fucking LARPers or not? Because he makes
Hawkeye
fun of them.
Could be bothered about anything.
It's like a love-hate situation like he does with everything.
Also, does Hawkeye want to get back with his fucking family or not?
He does.
So here's what bothers me is that there's a lot of good dramatic territory that you could explore of him actually not wanting to get out of the game. But the show can't decide whether he's a workaholic or he's just depressed, or if he's like a family man. So
I think it's pretty obvious that it's two things. It's he wants to make sure she's safe at first.
No, because that doesn't even make any sense though.
But then now it's changed to be, it's an existing situation that he was a part of that he wants to see ended.
I think it's that the writers of this show are fucking terrible and they won't pick a lane. That's why.
Yeah. The premise of this show doesn't make any sense. Like, who's waiting for what? Like, Maya isn't killing anybody. Hawkeye isn't trying to kill anybody. Kate Bishop wants to take over as Hawkeye, but it's like, do you really think that Maya, who like they were in a fist fight with on the rooftop last episode, like she could have just murdered Kate Bishop, but
she came off as so weak.
But she knows at this point that that Kate Bishop isn't the Ronin, and everybody kind of knows it. The show kind of doesn't want to admit it, but it's like, obviously this girl isn't really in any danger, yet they're still hanging out doing like Christmas traditions. It just doesn't make any sense. And it'd be fine if it was like, okay, I just want this to be a hangout movie or a hangout show, a little bit of danger, a little bit of this, bring in the fourth act villain or whatever. But again, it's like, there's no sense of danger in this show at all.
That's another fucking big problem, is who has been the antagonist this entire show? There has not fucking been one. They could
have made it Maya, but they want to make her a good guy. So
because they won't pick a fucking lane.
Kingpin.
So now they're saying it's the Kingpin. The guy you should be scared of is a guy that if you've never watched the other shows, you'll have no idea who he is, right? Until they say Kingpin, and you're like, oh, okay. I guess it's the king. I guess he's a bad guy. Like, you're not going to know unless there's all this other fucking bullshit that you brought in. Not to mention, Kingpin has nothing to do in this universe so far. Like, he has nothing to do in this Hawkeye world so far. So it's so lazy. Like, lazy is the only word to me that comes to mind. It's so fucking lazy that they're like, hey, you know what? Kingpin's a guy now. Okay, what the fuck do I care? Is Hawkeye going to go kill the fucking Kingpin now? I don't care. Does Hawkeye even want to get off the fucking couch? Does he want to go visit his family? Like, do something. All right. So my two last points, this is the one that I'm curious to hear other opinions on. Kate Bishop, the Bishop, is very clearly obsessed with Clint Barton to the point where she wants nothing else in her life to do with anyone else but him. She fills his answering machine messages. She tracks his fucking phone to find out where he is. This is absolutely one of those idiot 50 Shades of Grey stories where people try to pretend that Christian Grey isn't an obsessive, abusive psychopath, or that Twilight douchebag who is a demented pedophile vampire. This character is a terrible fucking person, and she's boring because she's so paper thin, and she is no one that anybody should look up to. She is a terrible human being. She is not going to let Hawkeye ever, ever, ever be left alone from her. So I hate that they are trying to make this girl, you should fucking fight for this girl. She's great. She's a psychopath, abusive fucking nutcase who keeps on, she's tracking Clint Barton's phone everywhere. She's leaving him 1,000 messages. She won't leave him the fuck alone. She's a fucking nutcase ex who needs to be like, he needs to go to a different continent to get away from this fucking whack job.
You know, I've never thought of it that way. That makes like complete sense. Sense.
When I was like, okay, I was toying with the idea when she's leaving him 1,000 messages. But then he's like, how the fuck did you find me? Are you tracking my phone? Of course I'm tracking your phone. I'm like, okay, she's gone full blown fucking Looney Tune doing shit like that. That's fucked.
Also,
she cares. She cares.
Well, it's now, that kind of
Phil.
Thing where it's
so
like,
let's
okay,
say, you know what?
This, but they also
Phil's
have,
a good guy. I want to make sure Phil doesn't get hurt. Hey, Phil, I'm going to start tracking your phone so I know exactly where you are every fucking minute of every day. I'm going to learn about your wife's family and your fucking family and where your kid goes to school and what fucking classroom he's in and what food he likes to eat. That's what this woman is fucking doing to Hawkeye. She's a fucking nutcase.
Also,
fucking case.
I know it's one of those things where you could say, well, it doesn't matter that this character actually has no fight or crime training, but she can go head to head with like the goons and like take them out, despite being like just basically like a Batman figure. If Batman wasn't trained by the League of Shadows, it's just that was my other point.
The ending when the dipshit mafia when they're being taken down, you might as well just watch Batman Begins because it's fucking Batman Begins.
When I thought about that.
Disappearing.
It's that exact scene.
Yep. Like fuck. Oh, it felt like I was watching just a retread, like their version of fucking Batman Begins.
And then it turns out to be Hawkeye in the movie. The show tries to gamble like, oh well, we don't know who's under this mask. It's like, well,
I thought it was obvious that it was Hawkeye the whole time.
That was another point I had. Like all the parts of this TV show that try to be like, oh, who can it be? You're like, well, I know who it is. Like it's obvious who that is.
I didn't even think they were hiding it. Like I thought that was like that was.
It was the same with who's he being attacked by on the building top. It's fucking clearly it's clearly Yakov Smirnoff, right? That's coming after him.
I think the opposite, where it's like the show wants you to think about these things while these things are happening, because if you know while it's happening, then you'll realize it doesn't make sense. Like I was trying to think of, okay, I didn't know right away that it was going to be Yelena. I was going through my head, like I said in the last episode, off the checklist of like,
I was like, Phil, I was like, this is who it's got to be. You know, like the way you thought this one was Hawkeye. I was like, that's the only person it's going to be.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But even then, it's like him yanking them out of the way and pulling them under cars. It like Jeremy Renner is a small guy. Is he using his bow? But it doesn't like set up, and he could, but it doesn't set up him using his bow. So it's like, yeah, again, same thing we've been saying all episodes. Like it's fine, it's perfectly watchable. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's kind of like Batman Forever, where it's like I'm enjoying it while I'm watching it, but I know, like once it's over,
it's not great. Yeah,
this episode started me down the road of I really dislike that other Black Widow. I'm going to actively avoid the movies that she's in. I hate that. Every time she speaks, it's like fucking nails on the chalkboard.
I think you just hate people that have a heavy-handed accent.
It's not that. It's that almost like Will was saying. Like this comedy is so fucking bad. Look at the measurement. I wanted to kill you. I want to kill you. Okay, some pepperoni.
It was laid on really thick.
Does it seem like it's like so Marvel is kind of becoming like, did you find Spider-Man No Way Home to be funny?
No, I wouldn't say funny.
Because I would say Infinity War was funny, and I would say Endgame was funny, and I would say there were a lot of Avengers was funny, and I would say Iron Man was funny.
I can't give examples, but there were some witty things.
But was it on that level? Because I find like all of the TV versions of this show in this phase are not. Like they're trying to do that, but failing.
Are trying to get to a certain point, but are just
lower. Like it's noticeably B grade material, even though it's supposed to be part of the overall A narrative.
I think you'll be happy with Spider-Man stuff, but
the best example, using Infinity War as the example, is when the Guardians go up against the
Iron Man
and everything. Yes. Where are you from, dipshit? What do you want me to say? Fucking Jesus? And he goes, where? What planet are you from? I'm not from a planet, from Iowa. Yeah, that's on Earth, dipshit. That scene goes by so quickly, and that comedy is quick, like this, right? Really quick.
Yeah.
Good. It never stops and sits and goes, did you get the joke? Oh my God. Did you hear the joke? Oh my God. Did you hear him say, why is Gamora? Oh my God. This fucking stupid show goes, okay, the bishop, you want to have some macaroni and cheese, and make a macaroni and cheese. My goodness, it's a good macaroni. We heard you the fucking first time. Shut the fuck up and continue.
You know what's
Stop
great?
Sitting on this goddamn joke about macaroni and cheese, I get the bishop.
You know what's
it's so fucking bad.
You know what's great? We get a good amount of people that tune in to our, like, for example, Facebook feeds because of Hawkeye. So I'm looking forward to those Hawkeye fans coming in and going, "Oh my god, he's just shitting all over it."
Yeah, you should publish it.
But this show
it's going to be published everywhere.
Was the one that I was like, okay, like this show was a slow decline. This one, like a fucking. It was like a rocket that stopped in midair and just is heading straight.
So when did it stop?
This one was
for you
terrible.
Then? Like after the first episode, then?
No, it's always been like I'm not very interested, but it's fine. You know what I mean? It's always been it's always been a nice steady fucking line that's kind of just like waves rippling in the water. But this one,
but it's still rippling.
You know what? That's not true. With the end of the last one, with seeing Yakov Smirnoff on the thing fighting with Hawkeye, as soon as Yakov Smirnoff showed up, I'm like, ugh, like I don't care for this character. I didn't care for her in the Black Widow movie, and in this one, that whole scene where her and Kate Bishop are talking. I was like, dude, this is terrible. Like, this is legitimately bad. And then when the more I started realizing that Kate Bishop is a fucking psychopathic ex, I was like, yeah, this show was like 100% lost me. I don't want to watch this. Once the next show ends, like once it's done, zero interest in Hawkeye ever again.
Yeah. Well, do you think going forward, because it's the last episode, isn't it? This week. Because it's before Christmas, obviously. I would imagine it is.
It must be, because they're going straight into Star Wars.
Yeah. The next week. So, do you think there's a chance that they can turn it around, or
the problem here
close up nice?
I know you guys have a different problem, but for me, the problem here is that I feel like they've been leading this series to a specific point, going. How to point that? I feel like they have an idea, but they just haven't been able to get there, and it's just like all their things are going off into separate directions, and you're like, okay, well, in one episode, how are you going to make this all come together without seeming like you're rushing it?
Well, this one ended like 10 minutes before it was supposed to for me, and for me, it's like, well, there hasn't been enough of a plot, so there isn't really much to resolve. They just gotta
problem.
Yeah, they pretty much here's what they have to do. They just got to get Hawkeye whenever he decides to go, because honestly nothing is impeding him at this point. I guess the Kingpin wants to kill him, but does Yelena want to kill him?
I think the only thing you're going to get now, because it's the last episode for this season, is we're going to get a season 2, unfortunately.
I think this is going to be a miniseries one and done. I think you're going to get maybe a season 2 with Kate Bishop. I don't think you're going to get
which is
Hawkeye
fine.
Proper back.
But if it's like, if it does say miniseries on the site on Wikipedia, but it's like, I don't understand how you could be this far into this season or miniseries and just have one episode to go, when it just seems like you're like 3 episodes into a normal season, like some other show.
I think, to me, the answer is painfully obvious, that they did not begin with the end in mind. They were same with Eternals, throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. Jeremy Renner has complete disinterest. He does not want to be there. Every other actor that's in the show has no idea who their character is, what their motivation is. Are they good or bad? Because nobody will
we
give
haven't
them...
brought up Jack DeCane yet, but how about the one scene he
started
getting
on this show where he was so cartoony in this one.
I would have done the same.
He's just cartoony throughout the whole thing.
It's so
he was less cartoony in the start. He has gone full blown cartoon. In this one, he was like, "Oh my goodness, who knows why this is happening?"
The antagonist, and
I'll have to talk to the police.
He's the patsy.
Yeah.
This is stupid. And his wife is a bad guy. I get it, but it's like, Jesus Christ, dude.
I guess that it was going to be the mom that was the bad guy.
But it is going to be the mom. She's the one working with the Kingpin, right? Like, that's why they show her in the picture with the Kingpin.
But it's, I think, it'll be gray. Make her evil. Like, what's I
think it'll be gray. I don't think she'll be full evil. I think she'll be like, I have to do this because I'm under the Kingpin's thumb.
Oh, you don't think it's going to be some bullshit like, I want to keep my daughter safe, so 3 days ago I called up the guy who runs all of the crime in New York to hire somebody a million miles away.
No, I think
who has a personal connection to her to keep my child safe, even though we've already established I think the world of you.
I think Kingpin was been there the whole time. Like, he's been like her company has been a part of Kingpin's organization.
I think we're going to find out that Kingpin ordered the hit on Maya's dad, and we're going to find out that Kingpin is the one that's getting Maya the information on Hawkeye's family, and what they call retconning, where they're like, shit, we painted ourselves into a corner. Who do we make as our bad guy? Well,
okay, let's do some quick retconning right here. Not retconning, but let's just bring the house down on this. Okay, first of all, it takes place in New York, right? Okay, where is Spider-Man during this? Where is Daredevil? Where is Jessica Jones? Where is Luke Cage? Where is Iron Fist? Where is Doctor Strange?
Hey, hold on. Look over here.
Can't Bishop, you look at some spaghetti. I'm making spaghetti.
That's the answer.
Why is it more likely to run into a Black Widow assassin from Russia, Ukraine?
Well, this makes sense because there is a link.
Hey, hold on, shut up, guys. Look, someone's speaking in fucking sign language. Oh my God, those people are dying. Let's watch them for fucking 10 minutes. Oh, that had nothing to do with the plot. Okay, that's fine. Sorry, go on again.
Can't Bishop, we don't want to go with the Oliver Garden. We get to the fucking meatballs.
It's not going to stop.
Where is the on every other show? Have you guys also noticed this on every other show? And somebody brought this up in a movie I was watching the other. Oh yeah, in Ready Player One, how the police aren't involved, but they show up at the end. Like, where are the police? If this is like a crime organization, like nobody's keeping tabs on these vigilantes. When crime is at its highest at Christmas, like, okay. I know we're nitpicking here, but it's like,
hold on, look, there's a dog with only one eye that's walking across the
completely
street.
Hobbles it.
And he's being followed by Hawkeye and some black dude in a LARPer outfit. Wow, that's exciting.
It's police in a Marvel or comic book movie, which means police don't matter. They're
too busy LARPing.
Yeah.
Hey, look, hold on. There's the trench coat mafia, or the bookcase mafia, or the fucking, what are they called? Panty crease mafia? I can't remember. There's the fucking yoga pants mafia, and the yoga pants mafia. Oh, look, they're being silly.
Where's the girl that makes us some good spaghetti?
We've completely lost our Hawkeye crowd from being a fan base.
Well, it's just, I mean, we're making fun of this because it's like, it's perfectly watchable. The action scenes are okay. It's well paced. I like Jeremy Renner. Haley Steinfeld isn't too annoying.
I don't know if it's well paced. There's a lot.
I think it's fine. Like, I get through every episode. It's short.
I think it's a fine show, but it's not an action show. Like, it's a show that feels like, you know what it feels like? It kind of feels like they were filming the Avengers or filming Endgame, and they're like, you know what? Let's get some B footage of maybe let's see if we can build a story with the B footage. And it feels like this is what it is because nothing happens. It's so fucking boring.
What has happened? And I'll ask this question to our audience. That's the last thing, I guess, because we're at like 27 minutes now.
Who's our audience member again?
I like the spaghetti. I like it. They show on the Hawkeye.
No, I meant that one person.
Diane.
Hey, Diane, you come over to my house. We have some.
Let me ask this question to Diane.
Yeah, it's Diane.
What has happened that is of significance to the plot on this show at all? Like, what has happened? Like, it's things that have consequences. Either people. So I guess the Maya's dad died 20 years ago. That's probably a significant plot event. We know
only that to this story.
Pardon?
Only to the story. That doesn't matter overall in the Marvel universe. No one actually cares.
Yeah. I know the answer is nothing because that's how all of the Marvel TV shows have happened. Nothing has happened of significance on any of the Marvel TV shows so far that they can't justify with a hand wave. Oh yeah, what, Phil?
All of what's the name of the show?
Loki. You can't even remember.
What? Oh my god.
I thought you were going to say Loki. I thought because
I was going there
the biggest
next.
Defender of fucking.
I was
Loki.
going there next, but WandaVision was the most popular, and it did a lot with it. But then Loki, of course, because but Loki doesn't matter because it's all variant stuff. So like it won't matter to this universe yet.
Okay.
WandaVision set up Doctor Strange's villain, which is fine.
But it's set up the villain of another thing.
To this. I'm not
like that's what happened of consequence on that show was that nothing happened, but it set up something for a movie. Like that's
sorry. Let's see what fucking Hawkeye set up. Hey, there's Kingpin from an entirely other fucking show and fucking TV series from 2 goddamn years ago. Look, there's that guy talking to a different universe. The end.
There's nothing. No, it's technically supposed to be the same universe. Remember, that's how it started out because
really.
Ben Urich won a Pulitzer for writing about the destruction of New York. Remember that? Or when Leslie references Thor being around because you had some trouble with some guys, did the guy have a giant hammer? Like that kind of stuff. So
I agree that at first they were supposed to do that. They were in the MCU, but then they were all like, we're not really wanting.
But
that to be a part
there was
of
no
us.
grand thing that happened that like prevented it. Like
it's just the higher ups going, no, actually, we don't want to do that.
You guys said earlier though that like significant stuff happened. Like what though? Because you said, there's a bunch of stuff. I was going to get to Loki, villain. but we've established that the variants can pretty much make anything of no consequence. So anything on Loki takes place in multiple universes, forwards and back across time. Doesn't matter.
Loki effectively set up Kang, so it introduced us to Kang.
Yeah, but nothing. I
think you want these shows to set up something more significant, but they don't. All they do is say, "Hey, there's a character." That's why I'm getting to the point with Hawkeye, and I'm fucking sick of it. They're like, "Hey, there's Kingpin." Like, dude, you've done this fucking 2 times already. Because I cannot remember any of Captain Soldier Metal Arm, but for WandaVision and for Loki, it was like, "Hey, there's this guy." You took 6 fucking hours of my life to go, look, there's a guy. And this one is going to do the same fucking thing. It's going to go, we're going to Kingpin. Well, credits. That's all. That's all that happens. And I'm fucking tired of it because it's fucking boring.
So nothing of significance happening beyond that. Is there anything, do you think that they could do to improve the show at all? Or is it just, settle in for the ride the last show and enjoy it?
For me personally, I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, I'd rather WandaVision have the tone perfect. WandaVision never took itself seriously.
Boring,
especially those first couple of shows. It was a fun watch. Loki,
boring. I didn't even get through it.
Loki and this show are not fun watches because they're taking it way too fucking seriously.
I do not get how you can say that Hawkeye is a fun show and then say WandaVision was boring. I don't understand. I'm not getting mad at you. I'm just wondering what the heck.
Okay, first off, WandaVision isn't funny. And it starts off as like a parody of 50 shows. Forgetting that those 50 shows were funny. It's not supposed to be. So I'm just supposed to tolerate an hour's worth of unfunny content because it references I Love Lucy. I get that the whole final part is like it's something that she's constructed in her mind as like a prison self or whatever, but
it's more like a mystery drama.
But you don't need 6 hours worth of like storytelling to tell that story. I was just bored. I couldn't stand it. It was excruciating to watch. It was just so boring.
You know what WandaVision needed? Happened. It needed a girl to show up going, "Hey, you know what? You like the fucking crown dinner.
Honestly, it did. Honestly, it did because it was just so it was so unfunny.
It's not supposed to be funny.
I wasn't interested.
WandaVision was intelligently written, intelligently acted. Hawkeye and Loki, absolute opposite. They're like, let's throw whatever we can at the wall and see what sticks.
The direction of WandaVision, I get it playing with the form and that excites a lot of people. And that was the first thing after the Avengers that was released, which is funny because after Avengers Endgame, I wondered if that was it, just for a bit of they were having trouble getting a few things off the ground. Now at the end of the year here where we've had 4 shows, and 1, 2, now 3 movies. It's kind of like, it's funny how they went from nothing to overload very quickly. I get that WandaVision plays with the form. That's exciting. I didn't like it. It wasn't for me, but whatever. Winter Soldier was like a action thriller that was fine. It tanks in its final episode. Loki just kind of played with form, but was a fun comedy of no consequence. That's fine. And then this one here is just kind of like a holiday special. That's fine. But like 2 not great, like Black Widow was terrible, and then Shang-Chi was like barely passable in my mind. Like did something, but it was so much and also ran. Spider-Man No Way Home is okay, but it sets up a lot of like different things that is like compounding what we've said before of like, well, it sets up this and this and this for the future. We don't know where it's going to go.
The most forgettable movie.
we're optimistic, but like my problem is just
the Eternals did not happen.
It's getting, it's just all getting tiresome, and they handled it really well in Civil War, but it's like, the fact is that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been going on for so long that everything that has happened before is actively working against it rather than for it. Like everything that I mentioned of like, why isn't this person here? Why isn't this person here? Why is this a big deal? Why don't these people talk? Why don't these people talk to each other? And it's like, none of it makes any sense. It's lost the plot. So it's just kind of like a sit back and enjoy, and I'm enjoying it. It's just that I don't even know if the series will ever be better than, I don't think it's recoverable, basically. It's just too weighty. There's too much going on.
I'd agree with that.
And you'd have to do some serious retconning to fix something.
I think that if they were planning
Doctor Strange is up next.
If they're planning a second season and but doing it to Kate, then they should really just dive really deep into that and just get it away from the Hawkeye stuff.
The only show that's going to be that I think is that I'm interested in is, as you guys know, Miss Marvel. I think that'll be fine, but similar to what people said with Black Panther, who, by the way, like, I know that the Okoye showed up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but like, it's like the further apart and divorced from the Marvel Cinematic Universe that every project is, the better off it does. So that's how anything's going to be good going forward. So we'll see.
If you disagree with anything we have to say on this episode, which I'm sure you do, please leave a comment.
You know what everybody's going to disagree with?
I don't like the swag crowd dinner. I like it put on it.
The media, by the way, just has it on for Florence Pugh. It's like she's unimpeachable. I mean, like, I think she's fine, but this performance in particular was something that it's like, oh, she's an A+ next, gonna win an Oscar someday actor, because I liked her. She was not Academy Award nominated for Little Women. This has taken me like her down a level in my books in terms of like performances, just because it's like,
she's a fine actress. This is a shit character in a show that does not care about her and has absolutely no interest in where it's going. And that's my argument on why this show, and it'll be the last time I bring it up because I think we're just going to run around in circles. This is where WandaVision actually felt like people are interested in doing it. The people who are in it are interested in being in it. This one, I can't find anyone that's interested, and no one in this show looks like they want to be there. And this show is aimless. It goes nowhere. It answers nothing. There is no part of the plot that I'm interested in. There's no fucking antagonist. I don't care about anyone. I don't care what happens to anyone. And that,
just like this episode.
Right? But that whenever you're watching a movie, if you don't give a shit what happens, that's a problem. If you don't care about what happens to any character, that's a big fucking problem. And I don't care about what happens to anyone in Hawkeye, except maybe the dog.
So let us know in the comments below. We're watching Complain. I'm Will Hume at filmgamer.net, and Three Amazing Guys and Rob. Somebody's got to watch that podcast and tell me what it's about and if it's good, because I just keep hearing the title. I'm like, I got to watch that.
They've talked about our show. They
provide a link below.
They talked about me. I think they
one time I saw Phil nude from his window. It was like American Beauty.
You got to get rid of the telescope. Seriously.
Yeah. Anyway, watchingcomplain.com. See ya.